Greetings guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eileo in case you don't know it, and in today's video I will finally do something that I've been saying that I was going to do for like 3,557 years now, boys. It is finally here. The Gemini comparison video, boys. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so like I said before, I said forever ago, like especially when I first started my channel, that I was going to do a Gemini comparison video, and now today is the day. Now for this comparison, I'm going to be running them in Golem's B9 because that one is accessible to most players, and I feel like it's an okay place to try and test this out, and I will also attempt to use them in clan versus clan. Now this by no means is supposed to be like an accurate, pure like reflection of how good these mons are. I did try and make all of their kits as similar as possible to get similar results out of them, but with the mons that I'm using for the comparison, they all have different moves slightly, and some may do more damage than others, but I've tried to keep it as balanced as possible. But for the first mon, I will be using my Wild Thing right here. As you guys can see that she's almost at max crit rate, and she is super evolved, and also she has a trinket that is plus 15. It's obviously 3 stars, but she has that 10% boost from super evolution plus trinkets. So does all of the other mons in the video as well. I tried to make everyone at least have maximum, if not near maximum crit rate, and then the attack trinket and books if available for the mons that aren't 4 stars. Next up is Fire Scubbus or Succubus, because number 1, I don't use her anymore, and number 2, why not? I mean, I'm doing a comparison video, so why not put her in there as well? Obviously we can see that she has a trinket as well, and she is super evolved, and she has over 100% crit rate, and she is booked up, but I've done her books forever ago when I was actually using her, but now she's just retired. But the main part is it really only affects her defense down for the books. I mean, it boosts up her HP siphon damage dealt by 5%, but is that going to be enough to put like Fire Succubus on the map? Probably not. But moving on here, and then we have my lovely Fire Brawn, which back in the day I tested out for B9, and he's actually been in my mod box for like 2 years now, and he finally got booked. So I just said, you know what, boys, I'm gonna go right ahead and book him up. I'm just gonna book him up because why not? But as we can see, he's pushing almost maximum crit rate as well, and he also has a trinket on just to give him a little bit more damage to kind of make him more equal towards the Nat 4s. Obviously that's impossible because he is a Nat 2, but trying to you know, even the playing field just a little bit more. And then last but not least, it's Gemini. Now, as we can see right here, Gemini's fully booked up. She is on max crit rate as well, and she does have an attack trinket. Once again, this one's 4 stars to try and offset the stat differences between Nat 4s and the Nat 3 and the Nat 2. But obviously, like I said before, I know the super evolution is there, but everyone's pretty much running crit rate attack, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Their gem should be plus 12 for everything but their crit rate gem. I mean, Succubus is all plus 12, but she's just there, and she has an HP gem actually. She's on HP attack crit rate. Everyone else is on crit rate attack. But let's go ahead over here and move to the dungeons, and let's see how their damage does. Alright boys, so we are here in B9. Obviously we're on the first wave, and I just want to test individually each of the mons' damage, and it's nice that we can actually see their damage with update from a bit ago. But let's see how much Wild Thing can do in one hit. So that was 64k. Succubus is at 44k. Brawn is at 69k, but keep in mind he does have Predator and he's booked up. And then let's test Gemini's damage. 59k. That was actually a little bit more than I honestly anticipated from her. Everybody's surviving fine. We'll just clear out these waves here. And so far, Succubus, because she's on HP attack crit rate, is bringing in the lowest damage, which is no surprise there. Wild Thing almost killed that dude. almost. So right now, Bronze Predator is pretty much on par with Wildfang, even at Super Evolution. But Gemini is actually coming in 3rd place. Succubus is just there. She's just there, boys. But I'm actually mildly surprised. I thought Gemini was going to be even worse. Alright, let's see. Oh, one shot that one. Okay, so DPS went down a little bit there. But so far, it's looking like Wildfang is coming in 1st place right now. Obviously with the Super Evolution. But Braun just took the 1st spot, boys. He just took the 1st spot. I'm just going to do defense down because why not? Let's see what Braun's single target does. Okay. Okay. This one's just AoE though. Okay. Okay. Gemini's starting to fall off hard, but to be fair, she didn't get her AoE off, so it's not really her fault. But this is a comparison with everyone. And that's Golem's B9, obviously done with no problem at all. No surprise there. But that was a test with everyone. So what I'm going to do next is essentially we're going to eliminate Wildfang and Fire Succubus. And we're going to try it with Braun and Gemini for hopefully a more accurate comparison. Alright, so let's give this a shot. We got Braun and we got Gemini. Who will come out on top? A fully booked Braun with Predator for his 1st skill and Sap, or Fire Gemini? Braun's still on top, but it's really because of that Predator. So far they're equal, boys. They are equal. I'm not sure if the damage calculations take in mind the is it just maximum damage? It's not going off the monster's HP, right? Maybe I should have looked at that before I started the video. Oops. Alright, so Gemini's starting to lag behind a little bit. Yeah, Gemini's about 100k behind. And the gap's just slowly increasing. I mean, to be fair, Gemini is keeping herself healed, so she is being sustainable, but there's really nothing else there. And her SP region right now is just garbage. But it's nice to know she basically can't die. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, man. But Braun and that Predator is just easily just out damaging her. Braun's still in the lead. Both are fully booked up. Braun is in at 2. Gemini is in at 3. Obviously their skills are different, but still. Let's try single target though. Even though hers is AoE, so Braun will naturally have higher damage. So that's not a really fair comparison if we're going off the 5-star skill. Yeah, she's still lagging behind. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Braun's damage is like super duper amazing, but considering that he is a nat 2, literally a nat 2, his damage is actually acceptable in my opinion. And that's why I've still kept him this whole entire time, just because, I mean, why not? And poor Gemini is not even able to get any damage out, boys. Braun's down, dude. Can Gemini go ahead and finish this run for us? She finished it. That's something Braun couldn't do. Even though she got CC'd twice, she finished it, boys. So In this comparison right here, which is obviously it's not professional by any means, but Braun did out DPS her, but she did have a little bit more survivability than Braun. So further testing is needed. Let's try Gemini faced up against Wildfang. Alright, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, Eileo, this isn't fair. She's a Nat 3 and her attack isn't that amazing. And now you have Wildfang here who's super evoed. That's not fair at all. Well, sorry, I'm not building a Evo 3 Wildfang or Evo 2 Wildfang just to do this one video, because ain't nobody got time for that. And obviously Wildfang should outdamage her, but I have everyone together already, so why not continue to test it out? So she's behind, but just by a tad. Just by a tad. Both of the Mons have HP Siphon as well. Fire Gemini is just the great value version of Wildfang. So far she's keeping up. Maybe Wildfang is having a slight edge just because of her boosted stats. But she is not booked up, and Gemini is booked up. And obviously, like I said before, this is a Nat 3 versus a Nat 4, so there is already unfairness because of naturally higher stats. But I was curious to see how far behind is Fire Gemini. And I mean, one comparison that she does have over Fire Braun though is that Fire Braun probably cannot solo B9 for the simple fact that he doesn't have enough self-sustain. It's not that his damage is bad, but he's single target, so he can't really kill these Mons. You know, obviously it's 1x1, especially if he crits, but also his 5-star skill isn't even in AoE, so he's still single target throughout. So it's going to take him more turns to kill the same amount of targets versus someone with good AoE. And it looks like Fire Gemini is at the moment out damaging Wildfang. I'm not sure how that happened, but... And this is just basic attack though. This isn't AoE or anything like that. Okay, looks like Wildfang's catching back up. I'm just trying to test the 3-star skill because I feel like the 5-star skill just makes things just absolute Pepega in damage comparison. But yeah, she's about 30k behind, well 20k-ish. But let's go ahead and try out the AoE. Let's see how much damage it can do. Alright, so Wildfang's jumped up by a margin there. And I'm not sure if it's just the Mon being in the first slot that is just hogging up SP away from Gemini, but she is getting cucked from that SP. So Wildfang's still ahead. Still ahead. No, I mean, no surprise. Figured honestly it would be a little bit more, but it's not. Yeah. Gemini came in second, no surprise there, but she wasn't left in the dust like I thought she would be. Honestly, very, very surprising. One more test. We're going to see if Gemini can run through Golem's B9 by herself. Because, why not? Alright, solo Gemini boys. We're just going to hit auto and let the computer do what it wants to do. She should be able to handle this. How long is this going to take? We're going to find out. Notice I said she should be able to handle this. Them moonflowers are whooping that butt though. Alright, so surprisingly she's holding up, boys. She's getting it done on auto. We've known for a while that like Evo 2 Wildfang, just in case you guys don't know, is able to solo B9. But I figured why not give Gemini the test. And we're going to watch her try and destroy this golem. If not, this is where she loses out, boys. But she should be okay. She has the self-sustain factor. She by no means, especially with a self, you know, being by herself is like a amazing clear time. But to all of you out there that have a Fire Gemini Evo 3 and want to book her up just to run her through golems, feel free to go ahead and try it. I mean, why not? But I mean, while she's over here fighting and hopefully not dying, we could pretty much say at this point that Fire Gemini is just lackluster. Obviously we saw before that she got out damaged by Braun, who was a Nat 2, but to be fair, Braun does have a different kit than her. She did keep up though, surprisingly, with the Super Evo'd Wildfang, who isn't booked at all. But obviously if Wildfang was booked, that would be a different story. And as far as I could tell, I don't think her leader skill is anything important or anything good, while Wildfang's is actually usable. And I mean, general consensus, at least in my opinion, is like there's a point in time, especially as a newer player, where self-sustain like Wildfang, Fire Wildfang, for example, is very, very helpful and usable. But it gets to a certain point where your DPS or your ability to DPS just gets so much better that you just nuke through stuff and you don't need to worry about self-sustaining. So once again, she takes a big hit there. I mean, I always knew that Fire Gemini wasn't super duper amazing here, and as we can see from her performance, it honestly isn't as bad as I thought it would be. But would it be something that I would comfortably recommend to all of the boys out there thinking that they're gonna gear up a Fire Gemini and rule the world? No, man, no. In my opinion, she works. She is okay, at least booked up. If not booked up, she's probably extremely mediocre. But I'm just gonna go ahead and end the video here because Clan vs Clan isn't really worth the test. This video is already 85 hours long, and that's pretty much it, boys. Fire Gemini, in my book, after my ghetto B9 testing, isn't play of the game, man. I much rather keep my Braun, but once again, I much rather keep Braun. You may like the HP siphon and her being able to heal everyone, but you know, different strokes for different folks, boys. But that's pretty much it for this video, you guys. If you have another mod that you're interested in having a comparison done, hopefully in the golems, feel free to leave a comment below. If not, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.